This live stream brought to you by the Excelsior Citizen and these generous sponsors.
The Simmons Sales Team, your hometown realtors.
Our Excelsior Springs Hospital, where better care is right in your backyard.
Whether we're talking about our dedication to preventing and restoring power outages, our pursuit of safety, or providing the best member experience possible, we are relentless in serving our communities.
Since 1974, Chuck Anderson Ford has proudly served the community's automotive needs. From new and pre-owned vehicles to parts and service, they've been there in the past and they'll be there in the future. Visit Chuck Anderson Ford today. Find out how you can advertise with Excelsior Springs' #1 community resource. Visit ExcelsiorCitizen.com today.
Hello? Hi folks, it's 12:30. We thought we'd go ahead and get started. And just welcome those that are coming in a little bit after. My name is Deanna Jacobs. I'm the Administrative Services Officer for Clay County, and we are really excited to be able to share some information with you about the Senior Real Estate Property Tax Relief Program. But before we get started, I want to introduce some of the folks that are with me today. We have our Assessor, Tracy Baldwin, our Collector, Barbara O'Reilly, Wendy Herman, who is with our Clerk's Office, and last but not least, Joanne Lawson, who is one of your Clay County Commissioners, who was instrumental in getting this program before the Commission and getting it approved. And we'd like to start with some words from her.
Thank you, Deanna. We're really excited about this. I've only been in office 2 years, but I have to say that I feel this is the most wonderful thing that I've done in my 2 years in service. So, you know, I'm a senior, and you can tell the wrinkles. But the thing is, I see us all paying. We're the ones that have made Clay County what it is today, and as profitable and as great a place to live as it is. And we get no breaks. You know, we're still paying through the nose, have no kids in school. So I felt that when this came through and Governor Parsons was nice enough to sign it, I felt that we really needed to make sure it happened in Clay County. So we fought and worked, and it was a true team effort. All of our, like Tracy from his assessor's office, and the collector, and our clerk, and the auditor, all pulled together, got this document done, got everything done properly, and we're ready to rock and roll with it. When she goes through all of this, there's a lot of information that may not apply to some of us, but do it to others. So don't get caught up in the details. Just know that when the time comes, January 1, or really it'll be the 2nd or the 3rd that everybody starts coming in, either you can go online or you can come in and we will help you to get this filled out. A lot of us are good online, some aren't good online. We want to make sure nobody misses out just because they can't go online. So we'll have a list of where we'll be. We'll be there, hold your hand through the whole thing. It's simple, easy, and I think when it's all said and done, you'll all be happy. Some of you will save a huge amount of money because next year is an assessment year. Some of us won't save as much. You know, it depends on how much money you pay in taxes now. But anyway, Dieta will give you more information than you need, but it's all good information. And then just don't worry, you know, we'll make sure that you get through this properly and we all get the benefit of it. So I sincerely appreciate y'all coming. I'll turn this over to Dieta. She is more than willing to answer questions, and she got all the answers. So, Will, thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner Lawson. Thank you. Well, hello. I have a tendency to pace, so please keep up with me. And if I trip or fall, please get it on video. Oh, wait a minute. I think that's happening already. So, again, my name is Dieta Jacobs, and we're here to talk about this program. A lot of people have heard it called SB 190. Well, the reason for that is it was originated as Senate Bill 190. And that just kind of stuck because it's a lot easier to say than Senior Real Estate Property Tax Relief Program. I still can't type it. I always mess it up. Okay, let's see, technology. There we go. A little bit of history. Senate Bill 190 was signed by Governor Parson on July 6th of 23. Clay County Commission, very, very interested in making sure that the citizens of Clay County benefited from that signature. And so they passed an ordinance in November of 23, adopting the property tax credit. Some folks are like, well, it's the end of 24, and you're saying we're not going to do this until 25. What's up? Well, a couple of things. One, we had heard that there were going to be some legislative changes to it, and we didn't want to get ahead of ourselves, put a program in place, and then have the legislature make changes that were significant and would impact you all. We also knew that this was going to take some work on the back end so that it was done properly. And most importantly, we knew that 2024 was not a reassessment year. So if you've looked at your property tax, your real estate property tax already this year, you should not have seen a huge change. It may have gone up a little bit, may have gone down a little bit, unless there was an additional tax added. We do know that in the odd years, 23 and 25, those are reassessment years. So we knew we needed to get this in place before 2025. So there's a little bit of our rationale behind adopting in 23 and implementing in 25. As it says, we did begin work almost immediately on that. And as we anticipated, July of 24, Governor Parson signed Senate Bill 756 that modified portions of the original program, and that went into effect August of 24. Some of those changes. Senate Bill 190 said that you had to be Social Security retirement eligible. The intent was good, but they failed to recognize that that limited some of our citizens' participation. Those of you that may be retired from the railroad or teachers or some of our law enforcement or government workers, because they were not eligible for Social Security retirement. Words mean a lot when we start coming down to rules. So very importantly, they changed the eligibility to 62 or older. Okay, so that eliminated the need for being eligible for Social Security retirement. They also clarified some things. The initial credit year or base year, and that's the way we're going to refer to it, base year, does not predate the adoption of the program. I know it's a little disappointing because only maybe 1 or 2 of you are 62 so far, right? Right? So if you turned 62 10 years ago, we can't go back 10 years. And I'll show you, I really wish we could, but we can't. One, it can't be retroactive, and 2, I don't know that we'd have the proper record. So it is, it does not predate the acceptance of the law. Counties cannot limit the definition or scope of eligible credit amount or eligible taxpayer. Eligibility may not be tied to appraised value of the home. The program is not, repeat, not income-based. Now, some of these a lawyer wrote, so please forgive me. We'll go over them and get through some of the vernacular. But some folks were confusing This with the Missouri property tax program called Circuit Breaker. That is a totally separate program. That is income-based. That is administered by Missouri DOR. You can find that program on Missouri DOR website, but again, that program is separate and it is income-based. If you are eligible for that one, you can still participate in this one. Okay, so if somebody says it's income-based, I'm afraid they're talking about the other one. This is not income-based and it does not limit the assessed value of your home. Okay, some of the counties that adopted this prior to 2024 had a ceiling on the assessed value of the home that would be eligible for this program, and they had to remove it. We did not do that in the first place, and we were fortunate because we would have had to have changed our ordinance. An adopted ordinance does not preclude it from being amended or superseded by petition, so there can be changes in the future. Here's the lawyer speak. If the current tax liability declines below that of the base year, the lower amount will become the new base year amount for all future years. If your taxes go down, they stay down. Initially, we had talked about if they go down, we will credit you for the going down, but if they come back up to your base year, then that's how we would do it. Senate Bill 756 changed that. If they go down, they stay down. Okay? Now, while taxpayers, we want it to go down, at the same time, we don't want our economy to go down. So it's kind of a double-edged sword there. But it is possible like they did in 2008. The base year shall be increased to reflect the real property tax liability attributable to new construction and improvements. Guesses? What that means? So we looked at that, and again, this is what Senate Bill 756 added to the ordinance, or to the law, I should say. And your commission does not believe that its citizens should be penalized in any way, shape, or form for maintaining their property. So when and we'll get to the fact that we redid our ordinance, but we added that if you add an additional 100 square feet of living space, may cause this to go into effect. If you spend over $10,000 in improvements, this may go into effect. And I use the term may because we are looking at it with the help of the assessor. And again, maintenance versus improvements. And what does that mean? I can tell you that if I put a roof on my house, it's probably going to be more than $10,000, right? That is not an improvement. That is keeping a roof over my house. And that's what your commission believes that to be. Okay, so that's why we use the word may. We want you to be able to keep up your home and to invest in it being safe and livable for yourself and not fear that it will impact the program that you are enrolled in. Okay, so don't get stuck on that. If you do happen to put a new building in the back, a new outbuilding, Olympic-sized pool, things like that, that will impact it. And the law says it will go up by the incremental amount that it changed the assessed value of your home, which is an accounting nightmare because it's not just the value of what you put in, it's your assessed value of your home went up $10,000. You added a pool that changed that assessed value by $2,000. That $2,000 is now added and the tax on that $2,000 would then be added to your base year. Simple, right? And I'm not an accountant. So, the next one, if a property is annexed into a taxing jurisdiction to which they did not owe real property tax in the base year, then the base year will be increased to reflect the tax liability owed to the annexing tax jurisdiction. I did say lawyers wrote this, right? So what that means is if you currently have property in unincorporated Clay County, and that is your primary residence, and that is the residence that you want to enroll in this program, providing you meet all the other eligibility requirements, and it gets annexed, then your taxing entities will change. And they will be adjusted by your then taxing responsibilities and then frozen. Okay? And that's where, as Commissioner Lawson indicated, I may mention things that apply to just a few of you and not to others. But it will change your base year because it will change your tax obligation. Okay? So what's it mean for Clay County? Well, it means that we had to change our ordinance, and we did that August 22nd of 24. We did that, and that's where you can find the 100 square feet of living space and the $10,000 improvement notes made in our ordinance. Okay? We updated it to be in compliance with the changes that Senate Bill 756 made. And we are continuing to hone the logistics of implementing the program and get the word out. As late as Tuesday of this week, we were doing beta testing on our equipment and how that's going to work with the application that we have finalized. So there's a lot of work going on in the background so that we can minimize the stumbles that we're going to have trying to enroll what we anticipate to be about 30,000 people here in Clay County. Okay? The first couple of years, we anticipate it being a very large number just because it's a new program, and we would really like everyone who is eligible to sign up for this program. Okay? So if you will extend a little bit of patience and grace, as Commissioner Lawson indicated, we will try and do everything we can to get you into this program and get it moving along. The application. I'm cheap. I don't like to spend your money. And so we had an application that was coming, a program that was online that we could accept business, liquor licenses and amusement licenses through the clerk's office. I thought, well, it's an application. It's something that we can just modify. It says the word application. We'll use it for Senate Bill 190, right? That way we don't have to spend any more money. We don't have to recreate anything. We'll use what we already have. Well, I was wrong. And the reason I was wrong is because that particular program required you to set up an account, which would send you a verifying email, which you then had to use to log back in, and there were some words that talked about building codes and so on and so forth that we couldn't change. And it just was too darn confusing. And if I knew what it was supposed to say, and I couldn't figure it out, I didn't think I should put that off on you all. So we took a different direction. And we developed an application that was easy to use online, would make uploading of documents as easy as possible, developing an education and communication plan, which is part of this, and something that would accommodate yearly affidavit submissions. And by that I mean that it's not going to let you fall into the crack of you filled out an application, but you forgot to fill out your affidavit in the coming year. And I'll get into more detail for that. I want to do everything possible to make sure that we remind folks of their needs, their obligations to stay in this program. So completing the application, you're going to need a valid U.S. government photo ID. Your old Blockbuster card will not work. Not even the old Blockbuster. A copy of your paid real property tax receipt. If you are not listed as the owner on your property tax receipt, document showing a legal vested interest. Again, if your name is not on the tax bill or your home is in a trust, please don't think about giving me the entire trust. I don't care who gets the ceramic kitty sitting on the windowsill. I just want the part that says you have a legal vested interest in that property so that I can enroll you. Okay? That's the way the law is written and the ordinance is written. If more than one owner is eligible, it is recommended both parties put their name on the application. I'll give you an example. I am not eligible for this program. My husband is. He doesn't know it, but he's going to sign up. He meets the requirements. He's 62. I am not. When I become 62, I will go in and add my name to that application so that both of us that are currently on the deed can then be on the application, so that in the future years, administratively, either one of us can take care of business. Now, I've had questions about individuals who have a deceased person on their deed. You do not have to change anything. You don't have to add anybody whose name is also on your deed. The caveat is if you have someone's name on your deed that does not live with you, say a child or a TOD, they don't go on the application. If your child's name is, or someone else's name is actually on your deed, but they don't live there, it's not their primary residence, you cannot put them on the application, okay? So if you have more people on the deed than what you're putting on the application, that's okay. But you cannot have more people on the application than you have on the deed, okay? Okay. If more than, going back to this, if more than one person is on the application, both have to certify that they're eligible. So like in my case, I'm not eligible, so I can't be on that application. And when I get to the back of it, when it's, I have to certify, yes, I'm 62, I can't do that. So that's important. And then when an affidavit, so every year after you initially apply, we'll need an affidavit, and we're going to get into that next. Until I become 62 and put my name on that application, my husband is the only one that will be able to fill out that affidavit. Once I become 62 and my name is on the application, either one can fill out the affidavit. Both of us do not have to fill out that affidavit. So why do I have to submit an affidavit every year? Well, it's your certification that nothing's changed. You haven't won the lottery, moved to the Maldives, and let your kiddos take over your home. You still live there. It's still your primary residence. You still pay taxes. Okay? Nothing's changed. For my snowbirds, it's my understanding that primary residence definition would be 6 months and 1 day. I will not sit outside your home to make sure you're there that 1 day. But you are certifying that you do, okay? So if that's a question about having more than one residence, because this is only eligible for one residence here in Clay County, no other county, okay? The affidavit also acts as a form of accountability for us, the county. It shows that we're doing our due diligence to ensure that we are properly administering this program and that folks that are not eligible are not included in this program. The affidavit does need to be notarized. Once it's notarized, it can be scanned or uploaded into the citizen's file, okay? That is a challenge for us. We're trying to figure out some other way other than requiring a notary, but we haven't come to that yet, okay? You will not need an affidavit or anything notarized until 2026, all right? And the reason we're asking for notarization is because this is going to be a really simple back of the form certification, and it's our attempt to limit fraud, okay? If you come to the county building at, I've been corrected many times, so we'll call it #1 Courthouse Square. We'll call it the old courthouse, or we'll call it the county administration building where the assessor and the collector are located. So those are all the same place, but I've been corrected many times saying people know of it in different ways. So I've given you those three that I've been made aware of. And if you come there, our clerk, our county clerk, they have notaries, and they will notarize the form for you for free because this is our program, okay? You don't have to worry about paying for that. There are other notaries at banks, and there are mobile notaries and things like that, but the county itself has individuals that are notaries, and we will do this in 2026, again, starting 2026, for you for free if you come to that location. If you do not come to that location and you want to go to the bank and you have it notarized, you can scan it in, you can mail it in, you can drop it off in the drop box. Note affidavits will be due the same time applications are due, January 1 through March 31st. Okay? Now, all of these things are for Clay County. I need to make sure that you understand that Clay County is doing this program, Platte County is doing this program, Jackson County, Cass County, and I'm understanding that Clinton County will be looking at it in 2025. As we indicated earlier, the law signed by the governor allows counties to adopt this program and to put in place rules for each individual county. So their application times are different. Some of their requirements are different. So it's really important that when you share this information with your friends, that it's per the county that they live in. And if you want to research any of this information, you go to claycountymo.gov, which is on the back of this paper, this foldout that you were given when you came in. Okay? That's going to get you the latest information. So, calculating your taxes. This seems to be slightly important to some folks. Finding a company that can apply the tax credit accurately and figure your taxes. Our current tax program is outdated, and there is an update, and they have offered to help us with that update, and they have offered to help us try and figure the taxes for Senate Bill 190 or the senior real estate property tax program at a cost of $4.5 million. Okay, and the reason it becomes a little more complicated is if you took this room as a neighborhood, you would probably all be subjected pretty much to the same taxes, right? It's a group, you're paying for the same schools, the same fire department, same water department. So your taxes are figured similarly. I can't say the word, but they're figured that way. Anyway, with this, you now become individualized. So we need a database for each of you because this gentleman's base year may be 2024. This gentleman, it may be 2026. I might be 2032. And so his taxes are going to be different than his taxes, and my taxes are going to be different than either of them. And then if you move, it starts all over again. So that's where the complexity comes with implementing this program on the back end. And we're going to get into some examples of some tax bills, okay? But that's why it's taking a minute. This is where our research is. This is where we're looking at different companies because they want us to move to a newer version, which is great, and we need to because it'll actually help communicate with other departments within the county. However, they haven't guaranteed us they can do it yet, and I kind of want them to show me first because, again, I don't like to spend your money. I don't like to spend my money, but I really don't like to spend your money. So just in case you guys see in the budget, there's an extra line for pencils and paper in the collector's office. Thank you. At least somebody joked or somebody laughed. Come on, guys. So please don't try and read this because you're not going to be able to. But this is our vision of what your new tax bill will look like. Okay. This is where the taxing jurisdictions will be. This is what will list your base year. This will be the current taxing year. This will be the credit amount. This will be what you owe. And again, we would still want to have a coupon here at the bottom that shows the total amount. So when we start getting into the examples, we're going to use 2024 as, I'm going to refer to that as your base year. This we'll say is going to be your 2025. We have to list the credits separately because the law also requires that we report to these taxing jurisdictions any credit by November 30th of that year. Okay, so it's detailed. We have used 2 tax bills from 2020 across the county, just 2. So it's and they don't represent Excelsior. I'm sorry. Just to give you an idea of what it might look like. The base year is an old bill at 2020, and the new taxing year is 2021. We used real tax bills so that we weren't imagining numbers, we weren't escalating numbers or minimizing numbers. These are real tax numbers from 2020 and 2021. So again, the base year is the tax year prior to the year in which you become eligible and apply for the program. So if you're eligible for the program in 2025, which means you were born in 1963 or before, you can apply. If you apply in 2025, then your base year will be 2024, okay? I've had individuals ask me, well, what if I don't really want to do it yet? What if I want to wait until 2026? That's fine, but your base year will be 2025. You will not be able to go back and get the 2024 base year, okay? Even if you were eligible, but you didn't apply, okay? Another question I've gotten is, do I have to do this? Is it mandatory? Absolutely not. And then I've been asked, what's the downside? I don't know the downside to you all being enrolled. As far as a personal impact, I don't know a downside. No one's been able to provide that to me yet. Okay? So, in this tax bill, the base year, again, we'll say it is $4,125.48. The new taxing year, the new base year is $4,212.74. Okay? In this tax bill, there are portions that are frozen, which is a little bit of a misnomer, but there are portions that are frozen, and then there are other portions that we as a county do not believe are subject or eligible for this program. And those taxes are the state tax, which is the blind pension fund, which that and the debt are mandated by Missouri Constitution. We do not believe that the statutory program, which is your Senate Bill 190, supersedes the Constitution. So in our program, these two taxes are not eligible for the freeze. However, those are. So your tax bill will not be frozen exactly where it was in 2024 because these taxes will go up based on the assessed value of your home. It'll look something like this. In this case, I would save $159 by being enrolled in this program that year. But it compounds, right? Because everything goes up. Unfortunately, everything goes up. But in this case, in this example, that's what the savings would be using those tax numbers. This is another example, again, another real tax bill from a different part of the county. The original tax bill is $1,608. The new taxing year is $2,164. Things went up a little bit. These are the portions that are frozen. These are the portions that are not. So this demonstrates that the non-frozen portion is not necessarily going to be together. Okay? You're going to have to look for debt. That's the way it'll be broken out. Your current bill does not have that broken out. We didn't have to have it broken out. In the future, we have to have it broken out because that's how we've interpreted this law. In this case, this person saved $617.57 by being enrolled in the program. Doesn't mean they got back $617. It means that they didn't have to pay an additional $617. Okay? Let's go back. So, when we start talking about these tax bills, how else might this be affected? Well, if you move, you will have to enroll your new home at its new assessed value. You don't get to go backward. You don't, again, we already talked about that. You don't keep the old year. If there is a new voter-approved tax, that will go on your base year, the first year, and then be frozen at that point unless there's debt included in that tax. The reason that is because you cannot have a segment of your population eligible to vote in a tax they are not subject to. It's just not right. But it does get frozen. But that adds to the complication of the calculations on the back end, right? Because sometimes these things change. When levies are adjusted, mill levies are adjusted, and it goes down, it stays down. So there's a lot of fluctuation you just aren't going to see. Gosh darn it. You're not going to see this increase like this, right? I don't know about you all, but I had a huge increase in 2023, and my bill went up about $500. And if I had been enrolled in this program, it wouldn't have gone up that much. It would have gone up, but not that much. And in 2025, it's again a reassessment year, and it's anticipated that the valuations will go up. And on that, what I would say is this program again is open January 1 through March 31st. The letters that you get from the assessor, the timing really stinks, I'm sorry. You'll get a letter from the assessor in April that tells you if your valuation went up. I don't want you to be concerned about that, because if you're already enrolled in the program, all he's doing is meeting his statutory requirement of notifying you of the change. It doesn't impact this program, but it will concern some folks when they just signed up for this program and they get a letter that says the value of their property went up, okay? He's doing what he has to do, his staff is doing what they have to do to meet statutory requirements. You've done what you need to do by entering this program, and then you'll see the greater savings when you get your 2025 bill, because that's where you'll see that. Okay? Questions so far? Yes, sir.
So basically, if we go back to the beginning, what we're saying is the assessed value is what's remaining the same for the base year. The assessed value, the taxes, if we vote taxes increase or the levies change, that may bump it up and down except for the debt that you're talking about, which basically is stuck at that assessed value. Is that kind of?
No. So the question is, it's the assessed value that is frozen or stays the same. And I'm sorry if I gave that impression. It is not. The assessed value will continue to be what the assessed value is per the market. It can go up. It will go up in most cases, especially as we are growing. We are the 5th largest county in Clay County. What will stay the same is, again, this base year, right? This is 2024, say. It's 2024. Say this is 2026. This is your new liability, right? Over here should be a column that says this is your credit. The difference between $81 and $39. So the base year that you signed up, that tax amount is what will stay the same. Your assessed value will continue to go up, and any new tax that is added will be based on the assessed value of your home at the time the tax was passed. They cannot go back to 2024 if you pass a new tax in 2034, okay? That tax will be based on the 2034 value added to your base year and then frozen if there's no debt. Now, same if there's some sort of tax on here that falls off, right? So Liberty Hospital tax, that came off, and so that changed the base year. All right, so that's where that is, and I'm sorry if I didn't explain that well. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
How will that be affected?
Good question. So the question is, making my home accessible, and maybe that costs $20,000 or costs over the $10,000. Again, Your Clay County Commissioners are very interested in you aging in place and having access to your home and to be able to stay in your home. That's the whole purpose of this, is not to tax you out of your home. So in conjunction, and it is the assessor's belief system as well, that would be to help you remain in your home, right? And it's an accessibility concern. But we would look at those on an individual basis. And some people want to know, well, how are you going to know what I did in my house? Where are you peeking in the windows? And basically that'll come from work permits, right? Because you need to have your work done properly and by licensed individuals. So that's how they're usually notified of improvements to homes. And again, we're looking at more improvements for like that big outbuilding, that big wing that you're adding to your home because you've got a family of 5 moving in, things of that nature. But it's still our goal and concern that you are able to maintain your home, new windows, new roof, siding, things like that. So that will be something that we would ask, and then you would have a conversation with the assessor and we would look at that. Yes, sir.
Is not true.
So the question was that he had heard that if you signed up for this program and you're in the program for a few years and then you decide not to re-enroll or you forget to re-enroll and you're no longer in the program, that you would be responsible for retroactive taxes. That is not accurate. Now, what it would be is that if you do not fill out that affidavit and you do not sign up again, then your taxes go back to if you aren't in the program at all. So maybe that's what they meant, right? It goes to whatever the current day taxes are. And going back to the application, again, that was really, really important to us and to your commission, was to make sure that this is a new program. How are we going to help people remember to do this on a yearly basis? They've never had to do that before. So in the back end of the application software, there's a list. And so come probably the first part of March, middle of March, depending on the numbers, we'll be looking at that list and we'll see, okay, we've got 30,000 people in this program, and I've only got 28,000 that have re-signed up. This is where it's really important that you give me a really good contact number or email, preferably email, because we're going to reach out to you by email. If I can't reach you by email, I'm probably going to call you. Well, maybe not me, but we have a team. Someone's going to try and call you. So if you don't have an email, please give us somebody's email that you trust so that we can remind you. We will also send out information in your tax bill. If you have received your tax bill, if you pay your taxes and your mortgage company does not pay your taxes, you should have gotten a flyer in your tax bill that told you about the senior tax credit program. If your mortgage company pays your taxes, you will receive a flyer after January 1 that says, hey, there's this great program, please come sign up. Why after January 1? Because we don't want that notice to get mixed up with holiday mail, the bills, or anything like that. You have 3 months in 2025 to sign up. Just in case you're curious, there are 48,884 folks who use escrow to pay their tax bill. So that's the number of postcards we'll be sending out. Again, I don't like to spend my money. The postage on that is ridiculous. I'm looking for alternatives. My first estimate is $18,885 to send out mail. So I'd really like to do most of this electronically or in person and to save some money. But I also think it's really important and it's a great investment to make sure that our citizens know about this program. Again, please make sure that we have a good email or phone number. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the application. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Is the sign-up application going to basically come with our tax due? Or we can sign it and send it?
Good question. The question was, is the application going to come with a tax bill? No. Because not everybody in the county is eligible, and when we send out those 90,000 tax bills, whether to the mortgage company, again, 48,000 of them go to the mortgage company, and 40,000 go to individuals. We don't know who's 62 or more. The application this year will be available January 1 online. I do encourage you all, we did a presentation yesterday or last night to the commission that gave you a sneak peek at some of the application. I will, let's see. This is top secret, guys. This is what the application looks like. You can't take pictures, you can't take pictures. Shame on you. It's one page. It's one page. And then the back of it, you sign saying you certify you meet all the obligation or eligibility requirements. Same online. It looks this way online as well. The most important piece of that is your parcel ID number, and that can be found on your tax bill. One of the questions I haven't gotten yet is, well, why do I need to give you a copy of my tax bill? Y'all already got it, just send it to me personally. Well, actually, I don't need a tax bill, I need a tax receipt. I need that, you need that. You need to know that you paid your taxes and be able to prove that. One of the reasons that we've asked you for that is because, you know what, we got a lot of folks, we got 30,000 folks. And you should have some skin in the game. It's going to be a lot easier and a lot quicker if you show me that receipt and I can scan it in. Zip, zip, we're done. Then, oh, you have 10 pieces of property. Which one are you claiming? Your name is, sorry, Joe Smith. Your name is Joe Smith, and there are 20 of you in the county, and 10 of you have 5 pieces of property or more. That takes a lot of time. We did a beta test day before yesterday. I think I indicated earlier on our hardware and running people through with some test applications, and it was taking about 5 minutes a person. 5 minutes times, let's just say 15,000 people decide to come see us. That's a long time. So we're trying to reduce that time by working with efficiencies, and we need your help to do that. And patience and grace. Just a minute. Yes, ma'am.
If your house is in a trust and the bill goes to that person, are you still eligible?
The question is, if your home is in a trust and the bill goes to that other person, are you still eligible? In that particular case, it depends. If you have a legal vested interest in that property, you would be eligible.
That means you live it.
There are some other requirements, but mainly yes. And I just need that piece of paper from the trust, and what I have been recommending to folks is if you go back to whoever created your trust and say, look, this is the program I want to sign up with, and I need that one piece of paper that shows I have a legal vested interest in this home. If you send me the wrong piece, say you sign up online, and you send me the wrong document, you have done your work. You've done your January 1 through March 31st. Now it's my job to look at that document, have our lawyer look at it and say, yep, that works, or nope, we need something different, to reach out to you and say, look, I appreciate you meeting the deadline, but we need this additional piece of paperwork. Again, we're taking every effort to get you into the program. We're not going to say, oh, it's March 31st and you didn't give me the piece of paper. We're going to say we needed it. We're going to reach out and go, you did your part, you in good faith sent it. Now, don't send me a picture of McMash. Send me something that is from your trust that you believe actually meets that requirement. And then we're going to work with you. Okay? We're not trying to keep you out of this program. Yes, sir.
Since there's a potential of a tax levy increase on the ballot coming up in April, can you cover that one time about what that looks like on SB?
So the question or the statement is that there is the possibility of a tax levy question coming up on the ballot in April. And what would that look like? Well, it depends on the levy, but what it would do is it would add it to your base year and then freeze anything that is not debt. Okay? So you get the benefit of the levy or the increase because you want whatever it is that is funding. And you want to be able to support that. But again, you can't vote something you're not subject to. And that's where that theory comes. It would then add it to your bill, and then it would be frozen all of the debt for that initiative. Any questions on that? Other questions? Yes, ma'am.
If your taxes are paid through your mortgage, then what documentation do you need to show you pay your taxes?
Great question. So the question was, if your taxes are paid through your mortgage, what document do you need to show that you've paid your taxes? Please, please, please do not give me your mortgage documents. Don't give me that receipt because it has too much personal information on it and I don't want it. So you can go on to the county's website, claycountymo.tax or claycountymo.gov and go to the collector's office, but claycountymo.tax, and you put your name in and you'll scroll to the bottom and they'll show a receipt. You print that receipt. Yes, sir.
So when we go for new levy building a schoolhouse, 100% of that levy goes on our new tax.
Ask me again, please.
They have a tax levy, if you, for a new schoolhouse, 100% of that levy goes on your tax.
The question is, if they have a new levy, new tax, or school bill, 100% of that goes on your tax the first year, yeah. The first year. And then what? Yes. Okay. But then it won't continue to go up, except for the debt. Okay. So there's some fluctuation. And that's where some of the misunderstanding comes, is that it's not totally frozen based on 2024. You do not get a check back. Okay, this is a credit that goes to the municipalities or the taxing jurisdiction. Questions? Yes, ma'am.
We're going to use an example to answer my question.
Okay.
School has charged $1,100 and it's going to go up to $15. But if you freeze it at $11.9, isn't Liberty School now going to be hurting for income? Or because you're now not.
Yes.
Let's say everybody in the county now is not going to pay.
So the question is, if we take this example, we take Liberty Schools, and if you look at it, Liberty School right here, $1,100 in 2024. Actually, it was 2020. And it's $1,500 in 2025. What happens with that money? Well, as you indicated, that means that $400, $420 is a credit. The school will still get the $1,100, but we're required to report the $420 as a credit, and they are supposed to report it as income, as tax. And I don't know what or how they will do that, because that's not my portion of this. I do know that there have been studies, or that the auditor has looked at this, and it does not appear, based on the numbers of our citizens that are eligible for this, that it will have a tremendous impact. Commissioner Lawson would like to comment.
Thank you. So here, that's one of the things I fought the hardest from. There are a couple guys that sit on the commission whose wives are involved in school districts. So needless to say, that was dear and dear to their hearts. Right away. Oh my God, the schools are going to suffer. This is horrible. I was just talking to the assessor. Somewhere between 2,000 to 3,000 new homes are built in Clay County, you know, in the year, last year, say. So the majority of those people that are coming in aren't those 62 and over or buying brand new 500,000 plus houses. They're young people that are just starting out with little kids in school. So while we stay static and unfortunately start dropping off, these people are coming in and they're kind of revitalizing that tax base. So those schools are not going to suffer because there's always an influx of new students coming in. That's why we keep having to build new schools. But also, that's those young parents that are paying the taxes. So what little drops off from us oldies is being made up many times over by the young people. So never fear that this, because I would, you know, if we were really going to hurt the schools, there would have been some consideration given at the Governor Parsons level, because I'm sure he would have gotten heat from every teachers union and everything else out there. So it all evens out, and even more so, they're not going to lose a dime. So, okay. Nope. Yes, sir.
I paid my taxes this year, and when I get my receipt, then how do I get the affidavit?
So the question is, I've paid my taxes this year, and when I get my receipt, what next? Okay. Well, the affidavit is in 2026, but the application is January 1. You can either go online. These are informational sessions. You can go online, or you can come to one of these sessions that's not only listed up here. I've got them broken down by month. Or you can go, it's in here. You can come to one of these events. We'll have an you bring your ID and you bring your paid tax receipt. You sit down in front of one of our staff, and they're going to fill the application out for you online. Take a photo of your ID and your tax receipt so that we've got it all uploaded. You'll get a receipt saying you have submitted your request to participate, and you'll be done. And then when we get on the back end, because again, this is very staff intensive, it's going to take us a minute to get everything actually verified and processed. We'll send you an email telling you to the email address you gave us, so it's really important for you to give us something that says you were accepted in the program, and then you'll have that. You have any more question? Oh, I forget all the time.
So this year, we don't need a notary.
This year, you are correct. This year, we
Do not need a notary. We do not need a notary until 2026. And if somebody can figure out how we can get by with limiting fraud and not have to have a notary, please let me know. The suggestion was facial recognition. Whew, I tell you, right? Do we want to go back to that $4.5 million yet? So, you know, that seems pretty invasive. But a lot of us use it on our smartphones if we have one, or a fingerprint. But gosh darn, that's a lot of information for us to have, and I don't think I really want it. I'd rather ask for a notary, and all they're doing is verifying it is you that's signing it. So we've got 2 sessions in January. We did move the application event from the Smithville Senior Center to the Mid-Continent Library because we had such an overwhelming response. Did not realize it was going to be so popular this year. Well, there we go. And these are the ones in February. We had to move the one from Northland Neighborhoods to the Gladstone Community Center. And we changed the time just a little bit just because we anticipate a large number there. And we'll need to be out of there by a certain time, so we'll need to wrap things up. I have already started discussion with Taryn here about holding an event here. It's just we weren't able to connect soon enough to have that information published. So if there is an event that gets scheduled here, she will help us reach out to this community to make sure you know when we'll be here. We are also working or trying to work with staff that work at the senior centers so that they know what we need and how to fill out the applications so that you don't have to come to a big event. They can help you. We've reached out to the libraries to talk to them about how they can help individuals sign up for this program. Okay, so we're trying to make it as easy and as accessible as possible. Yes, sir.
So we can bring our tax receipt and ID and we can get everything done after this.
Yes, sir. The question was, if I bring my tax receipt and ID, you can get everything done right here. Okay? Now, for those of you who do not want to fill out electronic application, we will have paper applications. Again, top secret, okay? If you decide you want to do that, that's fine, but it's duplication of effort, okay? If you're going to come to this event, I'd really rather you just sit down in front of us and we're going to take your information and it'll go right in. However, if you show up and there are a lot of people in line and you don't have the time to wait, we'll have these at the annex and at the administration building, the old courthouse, or what else did we call it? Number 1 Courthouse Square. It's the same building, downtown Liberty, right in the center. Okay, we'll have a paper application, and what we've also decided that we would do is that, again, if you're there and you don't want to wait, if you want to have a copy of your documents, a copy of your ID, a copy of your tax receipt, and you want to fold it up, put it in an envelope in a drop box, you can do that too, just like you do your taxes. The one thing I am not asking you to do is I'm really hoping you don't try and mail it to me. I cannot guarantee that I will get it. And this is too important for you to miss based on me not getting the mail, okay? So you can do it, but I'd prefer you try some of the other options first. Questions? Yes, ma'am. You're one of the reasons I stay up at night. So the question was, I have 1 residence, but I have 2 parcel numbers. No, the fire district border goes right up her driveway, so she ends up having 2 parcel numbers. So in that case, I really do recommend you come see us, and we will work with that. That is one of the unique situations, because we all have unique situations. Some are just a little more outside of the general scope than others. You're not the first one actually to tell me they've got more than 1 parcel in 1 home. So, but those are ones that we'll deal with, staff will deal with and help you through and figure out how we're going to combine that or work with that. So the question? So in that case, when you have something special like that, it would be best if you were to maybe, if you could, come to the Liberty location. If you can't, then the annex. We will have staff, we will have regular staff at both of those locations, along with the temporary individuals that we have hired to help implement this program, because the clerk's office has 4 people. So to implement this and to go out, we need at least 9. Actually, we need 12, but minimum staffing of 9. I'm sorry? Well, we've hired more than 4 people. No, we do not have anything set up for an appointment. We talked about that. That would require additional software. It would require additional staffing for phones to take those appointments, and then how to figure out what happens when you don't show up. And so it's a first come, first serve basis. I will tell you that the collector and I have spent more than the hours that we're scheduled for just to try and get the information out, and our staff is committed. We are putting a 9 to 4. So that gives staff time to get in the door and get things set up and be ready for you at 9. And 4 allows them to put things away and get them locked up in preparation for any evening meetings that we have. So long answer to the short question of, do you need an appointment? No, you do not. Okay. Last night we gave a presentation on the application. You can either fill it out online, you can fill it out with your phone, which is actually the easiest because you take a photo of your documents and add it right then and there. You can do the paper application. If you come in, you do not have to have a paper application. If you already have the paper application, you need to sign it on the back, and we'll scan that in. That'll be your signature, okay? You will be able to sign the form online by either typing, or if you have a touch screen, you can use your finger or a stylus or whatever it is to sign, certifying that the information you've provided is correct and accurate. Again, if there are two applicants, say my husband and I are both 62, both of us have to have an ID to put both our names on that application. I've got to be able to prove to any state auditor that comes in that the individuals that showed up were 62 or older, okay? Because there was a question about, why do you need a copy of my ID? Why can't you just say you saw it? Well, because I may not be there when the state auditor comes in 10 years or 5 years or whenever they decide to audit this program, and then how am I going to remember? Other than to say, well, I never took one that I didn't verify. That's still really hard to show. And as a taxpayer, I think you should expect more than that. You should expect proof that we're doing our job. Okay? Questions? You guys are an easy group. So go online at claycountymo.gov and you can see the presentation from last night, get a glimpse at what that application looks like and some of the things that we have done to reach out to the community. Yes, ma'am.
I've heard that at some point this tax credit will be added back to the back end of your house. Say something happens to me and my kids and everything else, and somebody says, oh, now you owe all these back taxes. Is that?
That's not correct, but it's a good question. So the question is that they've heard that these tax credits will accumulate and be added to the back end of your home, so that if you pass away and your children inherit your home or you sell your home, that those credits will then be added to the cost, or they will be passed on to your kids. No, that they do not accumulate. They aren't kept anywhere in the background. The only people who get the credit component would be the taxing jurisdictions. Okay, it's not cumulative, it doesn't sit there and it's not deferred. Okay, it's an actual thing. Okay, any other questions?
Thank you so much.
You're quite welcome. Thank you for joining us today. I really appreciate it. Please tell everybody about this program and refer them to the Excelsior Citizen. Thank you.